Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. And earlier, as I made my General Sunday charity pitch here, I mentioned that I would explain things in a little more elaborate detail regarding, our frustrations and this ongoing thing, of us being homeless. So if you imagine every day, I mean, you don't get a day off. You're always worried about, do you have money to get through the next day? Do you have money to get through the next day? Can you feed your children? And my kids are, my son's 8 years old and very precocious. My daughter's 14, but severely autistic. So at times she's kind of like a toddler, and she doesn't quite understand. And my son's just very frustrated that he's gone now almost 7 months without his PS5. Thinks he's being punished. It's not his fault. How we got into this situation. A little bit of a breakdown in communication and some shady moves by our former landlords. We went from paying $1,400 a month in rent, and they were able to charge these young kids who I guess are in the tech industry or whatever. They're making about 6 figures easily. They were getting like almost $2,500 for the same apartment. So naturally they wanted the old tenants out, and they were going to use every shady means to get us out. And they did. They got us good. With 4 days notice to get the fuck out, or the sheriff's come, and if they show up, you have 5 minutes to grab whatever you can carry. Anything else, this has to be left behind. And like hell, is going to leave my clothes and all my valuables and my family photos behind. And the thing is, once they show up and you're out the door, you can't touch any of your stuff or go back to retrieve it until it's in the trash. Like hell, I was gonna let my wardrobe go in the fucking trash. Yeah, so we packed up in a panic, and I used what witchcraft I had left to keep the sheriffs away so I could get everything out, and they didn't show up for at least 2 weeks, and by that time we were already out. So now I'm stuck with a very expensive storage bill. It's about $930 for the big unit and $230 for the smaller one. If I can get somebody to help me get rid of my couch and maybe my bed, then I can consolidate the smaller one into the big one, and that will at least eliminate $200 of debt that I got to take care of every month. Right now we're locked out of the big storage because guess what? We couldn't pay the bill. And because we're signing day to day, every fucking day. I'm worried about, do we have accommodations secured? And you have to have it all done by the mornings. They don't. The way these things go, you got to book them in advance, and you got to have the money. If you don't have the money, then you're going to have a hard time finding a place to stay, and that's just the way it is. See what I got to deal with. Say hi, Mia. Oh, you should can't. Well, see, it's an example. So every day I am stressing out, and I don't get a day off from this. I remember when I used to own a business over there on Melrose, and back then the stress was you don't take a day off because you're worried about, is anybody going to walk through that door? And if they don't walk through that door, they're not going to spend any money, and that's still no guarantee. Yeah, hang on one second. Okay, so. But this has me in this constant state of anxiety, and we're now entering almost 7 months of this. And so, one of the big frustrations is, in order to apply for an apartment, you've got to pay an application fee. Now, some of these places, most of these places are charging like $50 per application. Worse, they're now requiring every adult over the age of 18 to also apply, which means it costs us $100. We've spent almost $1,200 in applying for apartments, only to be told no because credit score. Most of these places are using AI algorithms, and some places, like, I'll give you a good example. Let's see. You can see that dump over there. We were recommended to that place, and we went over there. And it's a 30-year-old building, and it's seen better days. They wanted 700 credit score. Are you fucking kidding me? It's ridiculous. This is why there's so many homeless people. There are actually more empty units in the city of Los Angeles than there are people to fill them. I mean, you could easily solve the homeless crisis overnight if you wanted to, but there's no incentive, there's no motivation to do it, you know. And well, some people just can't be rehabilitated, but people like us, working poor, you know, we got to live somewhere, you know, and leaving this place for Chatsworth or someplace up in the high desert is not the answer for us. You see, having survived 2 sexual assaults, I got to be where I feel safe. You know, I'm part of the landscape here in Hollywood. You know, nobody goes trans hunting, you know, here. You know, that almost never happens. I mean, I haven't seen or heard anything like that since the 1990s, when asshole rednecks would drive in from Bakersfield looking for a working girl on the street at 3 in the morning and to attack them with baseball bats and kill them. And that used to happen. We don't see shit like that happen here. I mean, I'm part of the landscape, so I'm almost never get not even a dirty look most of the time. So I feel safe, and people know me. A lot of businesses know me, so that's why I want to stay in this area. Plus, my kids, they both attend charter schools, and they're specialized, and I want to keep them in their schools. So this talk of everyone trying to convince me to move to Portland, I don't want to move to Portland. You know, it's like, I mean, I love the rain, but, you know, 160 days of it a year, that would be a little much, not to mention those dark months. I mean, I once considered moving to Seattle, but then I quickly realized once you just travel like less than 10 miles into the suburbs, you know, go over there by Renton, you start seeing all those red hats and gun racks and some rather some unsavory people, and you know, I don't want to move up there for that same reason. You know, it's I mean, people say, yeah, you're in a box here in Hollywood, but in Seattle, you would be in a tighter box, only the air's cleaner. Like you say, you got the mountains, you got the sound, you got the trees and Mount Rainier right there. I mean, it's beautiful, very expensive. Yeah, Portland's cheaper, but my concern there out of safety is, you know, you got these assholes, you know, right-wing militia types that drive in, you know, neo-Nazis. They come in from Idaho and they'll make the trip just to cause trouble. You know, find somebody to hit them with paintballs or real bullets, or I don't know, whatever. I don't know. I don't want to deal with that kind of bullshit. All right? Yeah. You might have friends there and maybe nothing's happened to them, but you know, there'll always be that one. I'm safe here. Okay? My life is here. I've been living in Hollywood for the last 40 years of my life, and I'm gonna stay here, okay? This is my town. Why should I have to flee? You know, I mean, the only time I've ever been unhoused was after my first marriage collapsed, and that was, you know, maybe about 5-6 days. I was couch surfing. I had places I could stay. This time I don't have any places I can stay, and definitely not for my family. So our only choice is to stay in motels, and that is just so fucking expensive. So we went from paying $1,400. Now, if we can get a place, we're gonna be spending at least $22. That's gonna be hard, but she got in a guy. We got to do it, you know. But until we can find a place, we're spending almost $6,000 a month, you know, paying for motels and eating bad food. I mean, I've never eaten so much garbage in my life. I cannot stand fast food anymore. I mean, it's making me sick, literally, especially McDonald's. I fucking hate McDonald's, but sometimes I don't want to feed anybody because, you know, they have those McDonald's points and, you know, get some free food. Hang on a second. There's this asshole who keeps driving around in a muscle car, blasting music really loud, trying to let everybody know that how tough he is or how sexy he is. I don't know. If that's his, I don't know. It ain't working. Anyway, getting back to us. So, reason why we're always asking for money is because we're spending over $6,000. My wife's entire income is going to our survival, and each day this drags out, it's more money, it's more money, it's more money, and you know, we're not living. We're not. I mean, it's almost. We've not been able to go out to clubs. We've not been able to go to a nice place. We've not been able to take the kids to amusement parks. Nothing. You know, the kids didn't even have a fucking Christmas. That's how bad it's been. It's been rough. You know, I appreciate the people over there on Blue Sky. They've helped us tremendously. We had 3 really stellar donors that contribute thousands to us, and You know, it breaks my heart that one has passed away and the other one is out of money, and the third person, it's like, well, he can only do so much. Small donors, it's what I count on. Go over to Facebook, and then all I get is, well, have you tried applying for public assistance? It's like, how many times do we have to cover this? Going to food banks. What am I gonna do with fucking dried pasta? I don't have access to a fucking kitchen. Or canned goods. I don't have access to a kitchen. What the fuck am I supposed to do with that? I mean, I get nothing but fucking useless advice over on Facebook. Once in a rare while, somebody will send me like $20, and that's great. But, for the most part, I got a bunch of people that quick to criticize and tell me, oh, you need to leave LA and come to Portland, or you need to leave LA and, move someplace, that's not safe for you, but it'll be cheaper. It's like, fuck that shit. No, I don't want to do that. It's frustrating. So between not having a place to live, having to worry about money 24/7, not eating well at all, not sleeping well at all, and dealing with these kids who are miserable, because they go without food sometimes, and just like us, but they'll always be the first to eat. But they're unhappy because everything they own is in storage. We can't get to it. You see, my daughter's already impatient. See. She sees the desperation, she starts hyperventilating, and she's starting to freak out. So I'm probably gonna have to cut this short right now. So anyway, it's just fucking frustrating. It's like we have to pay all this money to apply for apartments, and sometimes we're told, don't worry about credit score, we don't look at that, and then it turned out that's what they do. And so we lose $100, and each day, it's a 5-day waiting process. So imagine $150 a day in accommodations alone, not counting food. I have to raise that every fucking day. And I would love a vacation where I don't have to fucking raise money. I'm sick. I hate asking people for money, but what can you do? We can only do so much. Anyway, this has been Avedette Ali, and this has been my rant about our frustrating situation and with the cause of my anxiety attacks and sleepless nights. So hopefully one day I'll be making a video. I'll say, here, I want to show you our new place to live. That would be wonderful, wouldn't it? I certainly hope so. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, and take care.